Hi, dear listeners. Welcome to our English learning podcast, where we discuss interesting topics using simple words. Today, we're talking about climate change. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to improve your English skills while learning about the world. Are you ready, Alex?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm ready, Alexa. Climate change is an important topic that affects all of us, so let's dive into it and learn together.
Alex, what is climate change in simple words?
Climate change is when the Earth's weather patterns change over time. This means that temperatures can get warmer or colder, and weather events like storms can become more intense. Climate change happens mainly because of human activities, like burning fossil fuels and cutting down forests. It affects the environment, animals, and people around the world.
Alex, why should we care about climate change?
Alexa, we should care about climate change because it impacts our daily lives. It can cause extreme weather events like heat waves, floods, and droughts, which can damage homes and communities. Additionally, it can harm wildlife and disrupt food supplies. By caring about climate change, we can take steps to protect our planet and ensure a safer, healthier future for everyone.
Alex, what causes climate change?
Alexa, climate change is mainly caused by human activities. When we burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas for energy, we release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat, causing the Earth's temperature to rise. Deforestation, or cutting down trees, also contributes to climate change because trees absorb carbon dioxide. The more we burn fossil fuels and cut down forests, the more we contribute to climate change.
Alex, what are greenhouse gases?
Alexa, greenhouse gases are gases in the Earth's atmosphere that trap heat. The most common greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide, but others include methane and nitrous oxide. These gases let sunlight enter the atmosphere but prevent heat from escaping back into space, much like a greenhouse keeps plants warm. This trapped heat causes the Earth's temperature to rise, leading to global warming and climate change.
Alex, how does climate change affect the weather?
Alexa, climate change affects the weather by making it more extreme and unpredictable. It can cause hotter temperatures, leading to heat waves and change rainfall patterns, resulting in heavy rain or droughts. Storms and hurricanes can also become stronger and more frequent. This means that the weather we're used to might become more intense, with more dangerous conditions in many parts of the world.
Alex, what are the impacts of climate change on wildlife?
Alexa, climate change impacts wildlife by altering their habitats and food sources. As temperatures rise, some animals may struggle to survive in their current environments. For example, polar bears rely on sea ice to hunt for food, but melting ice makes it harder for them to find food. Other animals may need to move to new areas, but they might face challenges like finding food and shelter. Climate change can also cause some species to become endangered or even extinct.
Alex, how does climate change affect human health?
Alexa, climate change affects human health in several ways. Heat waves can lead to heat-related illnesses, such as heat stroke, especially for vulnerable populations like the elderly. Increased air pollution from wildfires and vehicle emissions can cause respiratory problems. Climate change can also increase the spread of diseases carried by insects, like mosquitoes. Additionally, extreme weather events can lead to injuries, loss of homes, and mental health issues due to the stress of dealing with these challenges.
Alex, how does climate change impact agriculture?
Alexa, climate change impacts agriculture by altering growing conditions for crops. Higher temperatures and changing rainfall patterns can lead to droughts, making it harder for farmers to grow enough food. In some regions, increased rainfall can lead to flooding, damaging crops. These changes can reduce food production and increase prices. Farmers may need to adapt by planting different crops or changing farming practices, but this can be challenging and expensive.
Alex, what is global warming?
Alexa, global warming is the gradual increase in the Earth's average temperature due to the buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This warming is causing glaciers and ice caps to melt, leading to rising sea levels. It also contributes to more extreme weather events like heat waves and heavy rainfall. Global warming is a key aspect of climate change and poses serious risks to both the environment and human societies.
Alex, how are sea levels affected by climate change?
Alexa, sea levels are rising because of climate change. As global temperatures increase, glaciers and ice sheets melt, adding more water to the oceans. Additionally, the warmer water expands, further raising sea levels. This rise in sea levels can lead to coastal flooding, which threatens homes, infrastructure, and entire communities. If sea levels continue to rise, millions of people living near coastlines may have to relocate.
Alex, what is the difference between weather and climate?
Alexa, weather refers to the day-to-day conditions in a particular area, like whether it's sunny, rainy, hot, or cold. Climate, on the other hand, is the average weather conditions in a region over a long period, usually 30 years or more. For example, while the weather might be cold and rainy today, the climate could be generally warm and dry. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in these average weather conditions.
Alex, what can we do to reduce climate change?
Alexa, we can reduce climate change by making choices that lower our carbon footprint. This includes using less energy by turning off lights when not in use, driving less, and using public transport or walking. We can also reduce waste by recycling and choosing products with less packaging. Planting trees, supporting renewable energy, and eating less meat are other ways to help. Every small action counts towards making a big difference in reducing climate change.
Why are forests important in the fight against climate change?
Alexa, forests are crucial in the fight against climate change because they act as carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Trees store this carbon, reducing the amount of greenhouse gases in the air. When forests are cut down, not only do we lose this carbon storing ability, but the carbon stored in trees is released back into the atmosphere, contributing to climate change. Protecting and restoring forests is essential for reducing global warming.
Alex, what role does renewable energy play in combating climate change?
Renewable energy plays a vital role in combating climate change by providing cleaner alternatives to fossil fuels. Sources like solar, wind, and hydropower generate electricity without emitting greenhouse gases. By using renewable energy, we can reduce our reliance on coal, oil, and gas, which are major contributors to climate change. Increasing the use of renewable energy is one of the most effective ways to reduce carbon emissions and slow global warming.
How does transportation contribute to climate change?
Transportation contributes to climate change by releasing large amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Cars, trucks, airplanes, and ships burn fossil fuels like gasoline and diesel, which are major sources of these emissions. The more we drive, fly, or ship goods, the more we contribute to global warming. Switching to electric vehicles, using public transportation, or biking can help reduce the impact of transportation on the environment.
Alex, what is carbon footprint?
Alexa, a carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases that a person, organization, or activity produces, usually measured in tons of carbon dioxide. It includes emissions from activities like driving a car using electricity and even the food we eat. The larger the carbon footprint, the more that person or activity contributes to climate change. By reducing our carbon footprint, we can help slow down global warming and protect the environment.
What is the Paris Agreement?
Alexa, the Paris Agreement is a global pact adopted in 2015 by nearly every country to combat climate change. The agreement aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, with an effort to keep it below 1.5 degrees. Countries that signed the agreement committed to reducing their carbon emissions and increasing efforts to adapt to climate change. The Paris Agreement is an important step towards global cooperation in addressing the climate crisis.
Alex, how does climate change affect the oceans?
Alexa, climate change affects the oceans in several ways. Warmer temperatures cause the water to expand, leading to rising sea levels. Additionally, melting glaciers and ice caps add more water to the oceans, further raising sea levels. Climate change also increases the acidity of the oceans, which can harm marine life like coral reefs and fish. The combined effects of these changes threaten the health of our oceans and the communities that rely on them.
Alex, what are climate refugees?
Alexa, climate refugees are people who are forced to leave their homes due to the impacts of climate change. This can happen because of rising sea levels, extreme weather events, or other environmental changes that make it difficult or impossible to live in their homes. For example, if a community is flooded or loses its farmland due to drought, people may need to move to find safer living conditions. Climate change is expected to increase the number of climate refugees in the future.
Alex, how does deforestation contribute to climate change?
Alexa, deforestation contributes to climate change by releasing stored carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. When trees are cut down or burned, the carbon stored in their wood is released as carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that contributes to global warming. Additionally, when forests are destroyed, they can no longer absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere.
How do industrial activities contribute to climate change?
Alexa, industrial activities contribute to climate change by emitting large amounts of greenhouse gases. Factories and power plants burn fossil fuels like coal and oil to produce energy, releasing carbon dioxide and other harmful gases into the atmosphere. Additionally, industries often release pollutants during manufacturing processes, which further contribute to global warming. Reducing emissions from industrial activities is essential in the fight against climate change.
Alex, how does climate change affect food security?
Alexa, climate change affects food security by disrupting agriculture and food production. Changes in temperature and rainfall patterns can reduce crop yields and make farming more difficult. Extreme weather events like droughts and floods can destroy crops and damage infrastructure needed to transport food. As a result, food prices may increase, and some communities may face shortages. Ensuring food security in a changing climate requires adapting farming practices and reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Alex, what is the role of education in addressing climate change?
Alexa, education plays a crucial role in addressing climate change by raising awareness and empowering people to take action. By learning about climate change, its causes, and its impacts, individuals can make informed decisions that reduce their carbon footprint. Education also encourages communities to advocate for policies and practices that protect the environment. By teaching future generations about sustainability, we can create a society that prioritizes environmental protection and resilience.
What can young people do to fight climate change?
Young people can fight climate change by making eco-friendly choices in their daily lives. They can reduce energy use, recycle, and choose sustainable products. Young people can also raise awareness by participating in environmental campaigns, speaking out on social media, and encouraging others to take action. By staying informed and advocating for change, they can influence policies and practices that protect the environment and ensure a sustainable future.
That brings us to the end of our discussion on climate change. We hope you found this podcast informative and easy to understand. Remember, every small action counts in the fight against climate change, and you can make a difference.
Thank you for listening. Keep practicing your English by tuning into our future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on our channel. Together, we can learn more and do more to protect our planet. See you next time.